The first time Sofia Marino saw Dante Ricci, she wanted to ruin and make him miserable. She stood in the elegant ballroom, champagne flute clutched so tightly in her hand it threatened to shatter, watching as he moved through the crowd. Tall, impossibly handsome, with raven black hair and eyes the color of rich espresso, he commanded attention without effort. Women practically melted as he passed, while men straightened their postures, eager to impress. The most feared mafia king in all of Italy, and the man who had ordered her brother's execution. "Don't do anything stupid. Remember why we're here, Sofia." Her best friend Elena whispered beside her, sensing the rage radiating from Sofia's body. Yes, the plan. Sofia forced herself to breathe. After 2 years of plotting, she had finally infiltrated the annual Ricci Foundation Gala, posing as a wealthy donor's daughter. Tonight was about gathering information, not revenge. But then Dante looked up, and their eyes met across the glittering crowd. Time seemed to stop. His gaze sharpened, a predator spotting prey. Without breaking eye contact, he handed his drink to a nearby associate and began moving deliberately in her direction. "He's coming over here. What do we do, Sofia?" Elena asked, but Sofia was frozen, caught in his magnetic pull. Each step he took toward her sent her heart racing faster, hatred and something far more dangerous flooding her veins.
"Signorina, I don't believe we've been introduced."
Sofia Marino.
She extended her hand, praying he wouldn't feel it trembling. Instead of shaking her hand, he raised it to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. His eyes never left hers.
"Dante Ricci. And what brings such a beautiful woman to my charity gala?"
My charity gala. As if a few million donated to orphanages could wash the blood from his hands. But she smiled and answered his question.
"Art. I hear you have one of the finest private collections in Europe."
"You're interested in art?"
"Passionately."
"Then perhaps you'd allow me to show you my collection. Privately."
"I'd be honored."
The words tasted like ash in her mouth, but a smile played at the corners of his mouth. Elena made a slight choking sound beside her. Sofia silenced her with a subtle gesture. As Dante led her away, his hand resting possessively at the small of her back, Sofia felt the weight of the small pistol concealed in her evening purse. It would be so easy to end him now, to avenge her brother. But that would be too quick, too merciful. No, Dante Ricci deserved to suffer first. She just never expected that she would end up suffering alongside him. 3 months later, Sofia stood before the mirror in what was now her bedroom, staring at the enormous diamond ring on her finger. Fiancé of the Mafia King. The irony was almost too much to bear. What had begun as a mission of infiltration had spiraled into something far more complicated. Dante had been relentless in his pursuit, showering her with attention, gifts, private art viewings that turned into intimate dinners, and eventually, passionate nights that left her questioning everything she thought she knew. She had told herself it was all part of the plan: get close to him, gain his trust, access his secrets, and then destroy him from within. But somewhere along the way, the lines had blurred. The bedroom door opened, and Dante appeared in the reflection behind her. Fresh from a shower, wearing only black pants, water droplets still clinging to his muscled chest, he was devastatingly handsome. He approached, wrapping his arms around her waist and pressing a kiss to the sensitive spot where her neck met her shoulder.
"What's troubling you, my love? You've been distant all day."
My love. Those 2 words. The endearment both thrilled and sickened her. Did he use those same words with the women he ordered killed? Did he whisper them to her brother before giving the execution order?
"Just moving in stress. It's not every day a girl marries the most powerful man in Italy."
"You were made for this role. Sofia. Made for me. I knew it from the moment I saw you."
His eyes darkened with possessive pride as his hands slid lower, pulling her hips against his. When he kissed her, Sofia felt herself responding despite her inner conflict. This was the cruelest part of her punishment, that her body would betray her, that she could desire the man she had sworn to destroy. Just then, Dante's phone rang, interrupting them. His expression shifted immediately as he answered, all traces of the lover replaced by the cold, calculating boss.
Pronto.
He listened for a moment, then barked orders in rapid Italian before hanging up and turns to Sofia.
Baby, it's business. I have to go.
Course.
Sofia replied, shrugging. He cupped her face with surprising gentleness.
Tonight is the celebration dinner with my associates. Be ready by 8. Wear the red dress.
It wasn't a request. Never with Dante. After he left, Sofia collapsed onto the bed, burying her face in her hands. How had it come to this? Elena had been right. She should have killed him that first night. Now she was in too deep, her heart a battlefield of conflicting emotions. Her phone buzzed with a message from Elena. Any progress? Sofia stared at the screen. Progress. Such a simple word for something so complicated. Yes, she had access to Dante's home, his security systems, his schedule. She had collected enough information to bring down his entire organization. But she hadn't acted on it. Not yet.
Very soon.
She texted back. Another message appeared. Don't forget Mario. As if she could ever forget her brother. Mario, who had protected her since they were orphaned at 12. Mario, who had worked for Dante Ricci's organization as a driver, never involved in the criminal aspects. Mario, who had been in the wrong place at the wrong time, witnessing something he shouldn't have. Mario, whose body had been found in the Tiber River, a single bullet hole between his eyes. Sofia's resolve hardened. Tonight's dinner would provide access to Dante's inner circle. One step closer to complete destruction. She opened her closet and reached for the red dress. The private dining room of Ristorante Milano glittered with crystal and silver, filled with the most dangerous men in Italy and their elegant wives. Sofia moved among them with practiced ease, playing the role of the adoring fiancé to perfection. Among them was Antonio Galissi. He walked towards Dante and Sofia. Antonio is Dante's oldest associate, occasional rival, and a man known for his charm as much as his ruthlessness. His wealth came from ports and weapons. His reputation came from the bodies buried beneath them.
She's exquisite, Dante. How did you manage to tame such a wild beauty?
Dante's arm tightened around Sofia's waist when he heard Antonio, but regardless, he turned to her smiling.
Who says I've tamed her? That's half the appeal.
Dante pressed a kiss to her temple. The men laughed, while the women exchanged knowing glances. Sofia maintained her smile, even as disgust churned in her stomach. These men spoke of women like prized horses, commodities to be acquired and controlled.
Dance with me. If your fiancé permits, of course.
Antonio said suddenly, extending his hand to Sofia. All eyes turned to Dante. A request that couldn't be refused without insult, yet everyone sensed the challenge beneath the courtesy. Dante nodded as he warned Antonio politely.
Of course. Just remember where her heart belongs, old friend.
On the small dance floor, Antonio pulled Sofia closer than propriety allowed.
You've caught quite a prize, my dear. The most eligible bachelor in Italy.
I'm the fortunate one.
I wonder. Are you aware of what you're marrying into? The real nature of Dante's business?
I'm not naive, Signor Galussi.
Call me Antonio. After all, we'll be seeing much more of each other. Dante and I are like brothers.
Brothers who keep knives behind their backs.
The words escaped before she could stop them. Antonio's eyes widened, then crinkled with genuine amusement as his gaze traveled over her appreciatively.
I see why he's captivated. You have the fire. But, you know, if you ever find yourself unsatisfied with your arrangement, my door is always open.
Before Sofia could formulate a response, Dante's strong hand clamped onto Antonio's shoulder.
Mind if I cut in?
She's all yours, amico.
Dante's eyes were cold as ice as Antonio stepped back with a theatrical bow. Dante's hands were possessive as he pulled Sofia against him. His movements were fluid, but his body was rigid with anger.
Enjoying yourself, sweetheart?
Just playing my part. Isn't that what you wanted? The perfect fiancé.
What did he say to you, Sofia?
Nothing I couldn't handle.
That's not what I asked. Tell me.
He offered me an alternative. In case I ever grow tired of you.
And would you grow tired of me?
She expected anger, perhaps jealousy. Instead, something dangerous and darkly amused flickered in Dante's eyes as he asked the question. She looked at him as his hand slid up her spine to cup the nape of her neck, thumb brushing the sensitive skin beneath her ear.
Don't I already know what's in store? The excitement fades. The powerful man who swept me off my feet will soon be too busy with business to remember I exist. While I'm expected to look beautiful, host perfect dinner parties, and pretend not to notice the lipstick on your collar.
Is that what you think marriage to me will be like? That I would ever tire of you? That I would seek comfort elsewhere?
Suddenly, Dante laughed. It was unexpected, genuine, surprised, and delighted. It drew curious glances from nearby tables, but he didn't care about them but her.
Sofia, from the moment I saw you, there has been no one else. There will never be anyone else.
But you don't even know me properly.
I know enough. I know you're the woman I want by my side for the rest of my life.
The sincerity in his voice shook her. This was supposed to be simpler. He was supposed to be a monster, one-dimensional in his cruelty. Not a man capable of such burning devotion. But something flickered in his eyes, a shadow, quickly concealed. Just then, the music ended. Dante led her back to their table, his hand warm against the small of her back. Sofia felt disoriented. This wasn't how the evening was supposed to go. She was supposed to be gathering information, not fighting an attraction that threatened to consume her. As they took their seats, a waiter approached with a bottle of champagne and poured 2 glasses. Dante raised his glass in a toast, eyes locked on Antonio across the table.
To friends, may they always remember their place. And to beautiful women, may they always know their worth.
The challenge was unmistakable. Antonio smiled thinly and lifted his own glass. Sofia took a sip of champagne, but something tasted off, bitterness beneath the effervescence. She set the glass down, a strange lightheadedness beginning to creep over her. Dante was engaged in conversation with another associate, his attention momentarily diverted. Sofia blinked hard, trying to clear her suddenly blurry vision. The room seemed to tilt.
Excuse me, I need some air.
She rose unsteadily. She made it to the hallway before her knees buckled, but Antonio's strong arms caught her before she hit the floor.
I've got you. Let's get you some fresh air, shall we?
Sofia tried to protest, to call for Dante, but her tongue felt thick, her thoughts scrambling. As consciousness began to fade, she heard Antonio speaking urgently to someone.
Get the car ready. Ricci's woman is coming with us.
Sofia awoke to the sound of gunfire. She was lying on a couch in what appeared to be an office, her head pounding, mouth dry as cotton. Beyond the closed door, she could hear shouting, more shots. Then silence. Fear galvanized her into action. She swung her legs over the edge of the couch, fighting a wave of dizziness. Whatever drug they had given her was still in her system, making her movements sluggish. The door burst open. Sofia grabbed the nearest object, a heavy crystal paperweight, prepared to defend herself. Dante stood in the doorway, his white shirt spattered with blood, a gun in his hand. When he saw her conscious and holding her makeshift weapon, relief flooded his face. He immediately holstered his weapon and crossed to her in 3 long strides.
Thank God, Sofia. Are you hurt?
Sofia let the paperweight drop as he pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. She should push him away, this man who represented everything she despised, but found herself clinging to him instead.
Antonio, what happened to him?
He's no longer a problem. Don't worry. You're safe with me.
The implication was clear. Another death. More blood on Dante's hands. He cupped her face, examining her with fierce concern.
The doctor says they only gave you a mild sedative. You'll be fine.
Why? Why take me?
To hurt me. To force my hand in a territorial dispute. Antonio discovered my weakness.
Me.
Yes, it's you. It's always you. Forever it will be you. And only you.
The words was raw, vulnerable in a way she'd never heard from him before.
Do you understand now, Sofia? What you mean to me? I would burn this city to the ground for you.
The intensity in his eyes should have frightened her. Instead, it awakened something primal and responsive within her. This man, this dangerous, violent man, would kill for her, die for her, and she had planned to destroy him. Guilt crashed over her, followed by confusion. What was she doing? Had she forgotten her purpose? Her brother's unavenged death? What gonna happen to all of that?
Take me home, Dante. Just take me home.
She couldn't think clearly with him so close, with the evidence of violence still fresh around them. Dante lifted her easily into his arms, cradling her against his chest as he carried her out. Sofia kept her eyes closed, unwilling to see the aftermath of his retribution, unwilling to face the truth of who he really was and who she was falling in love with. Back at the villa, he drew a bath for her, helped her change with unexpected tenderness. There was nothing in his touch now but care, concern, devotion.
You should rest. The sedative will take time to fully clear your system. I will leave you alone now.
Whoa, don't leave. Stay with me.
Sofia caught his hand as he turned to leave. Dante hesitated, searching her face.
Are you sure? I thought you need some space after what had happened.
In answer, she pulled him down to sit beside her on the bed. Her fingers rose to his face, tracing the small cut above his eyebrow, already beginning to bruise.
You came for me. You came there to save me.
I will always come for you, wherever you are. Whatever happens, I will find you.
The conviction in his voice cracked something open inside her. Before she could overthink it, Sofia leaned forward and kissed him. Dante responded instantly, one hand tangling in her hair, the other pulling her close. There was desperation in his kiss, as if he were trying to imprint himself on her soul. Sofia matched his intensity, pouring everything into that moment. Her anger, her fear, her growing, impossible love. When they finally broke apart, breathless, he rested his forehead against hers.
Marry me tomorrow, Sofia. No more waiting. I can't anymore.
What? Why?
Because life is fragile and uncertain. Because I cannot bear the thought of losing you. And because I love you, Sofia, more than I thought possible.
3 little words. How often had she dreamed of hearing them? Before her life shattered. How often had she sworn she'd never trust them again? And yet, here was this man, this complicated, dangerous, devoted man, offering her his heart.
Yes, let's get married. Tomorrow.
Dante's smile was radiant. It transformed his face, from feared Mafia king to simply a man in love. He kissed her again, deeply, before reluctantly pulling away.
Rest now. Tomorrow, you become mine forever.
After he left, Sofia lay awake, her mind a chaotic swirl of emotions. Her phone lit up on the bedside table. A message from Elena. What happened? Are you safe? The concern was real, but she knew what would follow. Demands for progress. Reminders of the mission. Of Mario. Sofia turned the phone face down. Tomorrow, she would become Dante Ricci's wife. The wife of the Mafia king. The wife of her brother's killer. And she still didn't know what she would do about it. The wedding was small but elegant, held in the private chapel on Dante's estate. Sofia wore a simple white gown, her dark hair adorned with white roses. Only Dante's most trusted associates were present, those who had proven their loyalty during the conflict with Antonio. As she spoke her vows, Sofia's heart raced with conflicting emotions. Part of her screamed that this was betrayal, of her brother, of herself, of everything she had believed in. But another part, growing stronger by the day, whispered that perhaps there was more to this story, more to this man, than she had allowed herself to see. That night, Sofia and Dante spent the night with tender passion. Sofia allowed herself to believe, just for a few hours, that happiness might be possible, that the past could remain buried, that love might be enough. It was the closest thing to peace she had known since Mario's death. The illusion shattered 3 days later. Dante and Sofia were having breakfast on the terrace. The morning sun warmed the stone floor beneath their bare feet. Birdsong filtered through olive trees, and the scent of fresh espresso hung in the air. An illusion of peace. Then Dante's head of security approached.
Something's come up. The Marino situation.
Sofia froze, her coffee cup halfway to her lips. Marino. Her family name, uncommon, unmistakable. Dante's expression didn't change, but she saw it. The slight tension in his shoulders. The flicker of recognition he didn't quite mask.
Wait in my office. I'll be right there,
Dante said, and the security man nodded and left. Then, Dante turned back to her.
Business, Kara. Nothing for you to worry about.
But something had shifted in his eyes. A subtle guardedness that hadn't been there before.
Course. I thought I might go shopping later.
Take Marco as your driver. I'll try not be late for dinner.
She nodded and he kissed her forehead, then was gone. The moment he disappeared inside, Sofia set down her cup untouched. Her appetite vanished. Her pulse was a drumbeat. The Marino situation. Coincidence? Or confirmation? Had he known all along? Had she been playing a game where he already knew the stakes? She waited 15 minutes. Just enough time to not raise suspicion. Then she strolled casually through the villa's halls, every step rehearsed in her mind. When she reached Dante's office, the door was ajar. Not wide, just enough. She hesitated, then leaned in, barely breathing. Inside, Dante sat behind his desk, sharp and still as a statue. His security chief stood across from him, speaking low, but not low enough. Sofia's breath caught in her throat and her blood turned to ice as she heard their conversation.
Been investigating for months. Elena Bianchi was seen at the gala the night you met Sofia. They're childhood friends.
And you're certain about the brother?
Yes, Mario Marino, driver for the Borghese family. Found in the Tiber 2 years ago.
Sofia believes I ordered his execution.
That appears to be the case, yes. Our sources suggest she infiltrated your circle deliberately, to gather intel, to bring you down from the inside.
Silence fell like a blade. Sofia's heartbeat thundered in her ears. He knew everything.
What would you like us to do, Mr. Ricci?
Nothing. Do nothing.
Sir, are you serious?
Yes, you heard me right. My wife's past is her own. If she chooses to share it with me, that's her decision.
With all due respect, sir, if she's working against you,
then I will deal with it. That will be all.
Sofia stumbled back from the door, each step careful, silent. Her mind spun. He knew. He had known. Maybe from the beginning. And still, he had married her. She returned to their bedroom in a daze, her thoughts unraveling. Pacing. Replaying every word, every glance, every moment. If Dante hadn't ordered Mario's death, then who had? And why, knowing everything, would he still choose to protect her? Hours passed before he came. By then, the sky had darkened, the scent of night-blooming jasmine drifting up from the gardens. Sofia sat on the balcony, still as stone, her thoughts a tangled storm.
You missed dinner, Sofia.
I wasn't hungry.
Dante crossed to her, slow, measured, like a man approaching something fragile and flammable. He lowered himself into the chair across from her, watching her as if she might disappear.
What's troubling you, amore mio?
The endearment sliced through her composure. My love. Even now? Even after everything? But she doesn't want a hesitation now.
Who killed my brother?
Antonio Gallucci. Mario witnessed him executing a rival. Antonio silenced him. It was done without my order, without my knowledge.
The world tilted just slightly. He said it so plainly. So, truthfully?
Why didn't you tell me?
Would you have believed me? Or would you have seen it as a convenient lie?
She didn't respond. Because he was right. Back then, she wouldn't have believed a word.
When did you know who I was?
From the beginning, the night of the gala. When you said your name, I recognized it. I'd been searching for Mario's family, wanted to offer compensation, but you'd vanished.
Her fingers curled around the armrest. So he had known. From the very first night.
So you pursued me, married me, knowing I wanted to destroy you.
I pursued you because I couldn't help myself. I married you because I love you. Everything else, I hoped time would show you the truth.
That you're innocent.
That I'm not the monster you thought I was.
He leaned forward, took her hands in his firm, warm reel.
Yes, I am a criminal. Yes, I've spilled blood. But never innocent blood. Not your brother's. Not ever.
She searched his face, looking for cracks. Lies. Masks. But there was only him. Dante. The man. Not the legend.
Antonio is dead.
I made sure of it.
And you knew I was using you to get revenge.
I suspected, but I also knew what was real between us. You felt it too. Don't lie to me now.
She didn't. Because he was right. The game had ended long ago. And something real had bloomed in its place. Slow, defiant, unstoppable.
So where does this leave us now?
He didn't answer right away. Just held her hands tighter. As if he, too, was afraid of what came next. Dante stood, the silence stretching between them like a blade, sharp, suspended. Then slowly he knelt before her. Not as a king, not as a criminal, but as a man laying down his power for the woman he loved. He took a deep breath before he told about his feelings, and his voice was steady, but beneath it cracks. Pain.
That depends on you, Sofia. If you can't forgive what I've done, I'll understand. I'll set you free. Give you whatever you need to disappear. Start fresh. Somewhere far from this life.
The ache hit her fast, deep. A dull, aching pull in her chest at the thought of walking away. Of never waking to his touch. Of never hearing his voice in the dark. Despite it all, the secrets, the blood, the betrayal. She loved him. His gaze locked onto hers, fierce and open and unapologetically raw.
What if I want to stay?
Then you accept all of me. The man who worships the ground you walk on, and the one whose soul is already damned.
It wasn't a choice. Not really. Not anymore. Because somewhere along the line, vengeance had given way to something else. And though her heart bore scars, it beat for him now. Sofia leaned in, her hands lifting to cradle his face. She kissed him softly.
I choose my husband. Choose you.
Sofia finally said. And without waiting, Dante kissed her back. The kiss he gave her was like a storm-breaking, desperate, reverent thing. And when he pulled her into his arms, it felt like being claimed and set free, all at once. It was blood-stained. It was built on ashes. And it was hers. As Dante carried her inside, laying her down like something precious, his hands reverent and possessive, Sofia closed her eyes and let herself belong. To the man, to the monster, to the love that had risen from ruin, her enemy, her husband, her heart's only truth.